Hey everybody, my name is Russ. I'm a Phoenix-based cartoonist and the creator and self-publisher of Amazing Arizona Comics, a mini comic that satirizes Arizona news, history, and culture with superhero adventure. You can find it online on Instagram at AmazingAZComics or on my website, AmazingArizonaComics.com. As I was preparing for a Phoenix Fan Fusion this year, that's what we call our Comic-Con here in Phoenix, Phoenix Fan Fusion. As I was preparing for that show this year, I realized that I've exhibited at comic book shows for over 20 years. The first time I sat behind a table and exhibited a book that I creatively contributed to was at the San Diego Comic-Con in 2001. And ever since then, multiple times a year, I've exhibited self-published work at various Comic-Cons and expos and shows, first in California and now here in Arizona. With 2 decades experience, I thought, why not sit down and record a series of videos for folks that are maybe thinking about exhibiting at a Comic-Con for the first time sometime in the near future. Or maybe like me, you've exhibited for years and you're looking for a fresh outside perspective. Well, here we are. I hope this series of videos offers just that, as I'm planning on taking you through 3 or 4 short videos, hopefully cumulatively no more than an hour in length, so it's easy enough for you to listen to, and giving you some fresh energy and ideas for exhibiting your art or craft at a Comic-Con. So here we go. My first and perhaps most important piece of advice that I'd like to offer, especially you thinking about showing up and exhibiting at a Comic-Con for the first time. 2 decades of experience. The most important thing I have to say about you wanting to show up and exhibit behind a table in Artist's Alley for the first time is, don't do it. Okay, everybody, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching this video. No, I'm kidding, of course. Yes, I want you to exhibit at Comic-Con. I want you to get the most out of the experience. Because quite frankly, anybody exhibiting self-published comics or any kind of handcrafted work only helps everybody else doing exactly the same thing. Attention to your work inevitably brings attention to the entire subgenre of self-published and independent comics or crafts, right? So with that in mind, one of the most important things for real that I'd like to discuss before we get into the logistics of how to get to Comic-Con and setting up your table and what that should look and feel like, you have to understand this. When you exhibit at Comic-Con, you're in show business. You're in show business now. And I take it that seriously. Because frankly, you have something you want to show. You're an artist. You've developed something creative. And you want to contribute that to the community. You want to show it off. You want to sell it so that it justifies the work you've put into it, so that it becomes perhaps financially independent on its own, and maybe it creates such a financial consistency in your life that it becomes your job. Isn't that the dream, right? We often glamorize and romanticize and dwell on and love the show. Look what I've made. But we frequently ignore or are afraid of the business. It's show business. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about in these videos emphasizes the business. Because the first thing you want to do in exhibiting your work is have what we've frequently heard called an elevator pitch. You want to have a quick and concise way to talk about your work, whether it's a self-published comic or a handcrafted item. You want to be able to sell it quickly because people are walking by your table with the intention of going anywhere else in the convention center at that time, right? So you got to have something quick and concise to say, letting people know what you have to offer. This is perhaps a very intimidating step in exhibiting at Comic-Con or anywhere. Public speaking is one of the biggest fears in our society and culture, right? I think it goes like heights, spiders, missing the next season of Stranger Things, then speaking in public, right? So you want to develop your salesmanship muscles. You want to have a quick and concise pitch. You heard mine at the beginning of this video. I said Amazing Arizona Comics is a mini comic that satirizes Arizona news, history, and culture with superhero adventure. I could say it as easily as my own name, and that's only because over the last 12 years or so, I've been saying it over and over again. Distilling this information into a single, simple sentence that's kind of a mission statement, really, of my work, because I keep talking about it to friends and family and fans and media. So how do you start that process? Where do you start talking? You don't want to do it at Comic-Con. You don't want to perform your first concert ever at Carnegie Hall, right? You want to start at kind of an open mic or a small venue at a bar show or something, and then you kind of elevate to a concert in a theater, and then kind of an arena, then Carnegie Hall, right? So exhibiting at Comic-Con is no different. It's all show business. So where does it start for us? Simple, creative types in our community, making something that we want to share. Well, I would dare suggest that it might start in as small or intimate a place as a coffee shop. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you like going to a coffee shop and drawing. I certainly do. Or if you do something that's kind of handcrafted and it just covers a small part of the table, you like going out somewhere and setting up in the corner of a place and having a coffee or a beer or whatever you do, and you work on stuff for a while outside of your house just to get out of the house, right? Just to kind of hear the buzz of people. I'm all about that. I enjoy that. And oftentimes while I'm out drawing, inevitably somebody will see what I'm drawing and they'll spark a little small talk, and pretty soon I'm having a bit of a conversation about my work, when the intention might have been just to hang out with a few friends or even have some me time, right? But drawing or creating something is so special to people that don't do it frequently that they're attracted to the optics of it, the visual of it. What are you drawing? What are you making? This is a perfect opportunity to develop those salesmanship muscles, to have a natural kind of organic conversation about your work and realize as you're talking about it what the most important words are, what the most important parts of that conversation are, and then taking those pieces out and putting them into your own concise mission statement. So when you're behind a table anywhere, it comes out as quickly and easily as mine did earlier, right? You do something, you have an organic conversation with friends and strangers to develop that mission statement. Now, maybe you're not the type to hang out at coffee shops, or maybe you've done that and you feel comfortable in conversation. That's not the important part of this initial step here. You just want to get out there. You just want to get behind a table. Okay, I hear you. So where are you going to go? What are you going to do? Comic-Con's maybe once or twice a year in your town, so you can't do it every weekend. Find a local comic book store. Find a local record shop. Find a small business that already kind of caters to the culture you want to contribute to, and ask them if you could set up a table on any given day. If you're a comic book person like me, Wednesdays are hot days for comics. That's when the new ones come out. So everybody goes to the comic book store on Wednesday, the Wednesday Warriors, right? Well, what if you were there with your table and your stuff? You have a new release too that you want to offer to the public. No better time. Saturdays and Sundays, of course, as well. Very popular for small businesses in any town. So ask your local comic book store, zine shop, record shop, maybe a head shop. Think outside the box. Where are people that might be interested in what I'm making going on a rate? Where are they already spending money? And I'm going to be there. I want to be there to maybe capture a little piece of that exchange. And by sitting behind a table, showing off your stuff, it'll develop the muscles that you need to endure a 3 or 4 day Comic-Con. From there, you could do something that is even more populous, where more general audience comes. Here in Phoenix, we have something called First Friday, right? It's where about a square mile in our downtown district is blocked off for the first Friday night of any given month, and artists set up. There are galleries that are permanently there, and it's kind of this spirit of artisanship and craftsmanship and stuff, local commerce and food and all that. Thousands of people go to that every first Friday in Phoenix. Another town here in the Phoenix metro area, Mesa, has something like that on Second Friday, where their main street is blocked off, and artists are lining the sidewalk under the 10 by 10 pop-up tents, and they're selling their work. I think Tempe, where ASU is, also has kind of a final Friday event with artists. So right here in the Phoenix area alone, every weekend, you as an artist can be set up somewhere selling your stuff. If you're not in Phoenix and you're watching this from some other part of the country, surely your city has something like that, where you can set up at a table and expose your work to hundreds, if not thousands of people that will pass by. And that is pretty much as close to Comic-Con as you're ever going to get. One of the notable exceptions, of course, is a lot of these events are outside. And I think that's helpful to getting you acclimated to the potential claustrophobia you'll feel in a Comic-Con. Just think about you as an attendee going to a Comic-Con and walking shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow with people on a Saturday afternoon in the exhibit hall. It gets really crowded in there, right? If you have a very busy or popular Comic-Con in your town, you've felt it, you've seen it, you've been a part of it. Now imagine watching that from behind a table on the sides of those aisles. So it's nothing but a wall of people. It can feel very claustrophobic. Okay, so starting somewhere that's more outdoorsy, more open air, just kind of eases you into the mentality of that kind of perpetual static buzz you're going to hear in a convention center. Inasmuch as you're going to want to develop that sales pitch, that vocabulary, that very simple sentence that's going to capture the imagination and attention of passersby, you're going to want to develop something else too. And this is best done at an event where there are hundreds of thousands of people, like a farmer's market or an art walk. And you're going to want to develop a resilience or a callousness toward feeling ignored. Because you will be frequently ignored by a lot of people at whatever event you're exhibiting at. You're not going to get 100% capture. No matter where you are, you're just not going to attract the attention of 100% of the attendees at that event. So you have to be prepared for that emotionally. It might sound a little petty. Maybe you think, that's not a big deal. But day 2, day 3, even day 4 of a long Comic-Con, if you go multiple minutes behind your table, not talking to anyone because your engagement out there isn't being reciprocated, it can get you down, okay? Especially in the first couple of years you're exhibiting. So just be emotionally prepared for that. And you could do so by developing a callousness toward it, by exhibiting at shows leading up to Comic-Con. You know, if I exhibit somewhere, if I table my work a couple of times a month, and Phoenix certainly offers opportunities for that, I cluster these little shows or setups together onto a flyer, and all of a sudden, I'm on tour. You know, if I'm doing a Wednesday at a comic book store, and then a first Friday, and then maybe a Sunday afternoon at a church craft fair or a library or something like that, right? All of a sudden, I have 3 events that you can go to and see me at in a very short period of time, and I call it a tour. And it creates a buzz or a bigness, right, around me and around my work. It makes it seem like everything's a little bit larger than it is. And that certainly instills a sense of confidence in me and in what I'm doing. Such a thing would be great, kind of building up that momentum toward a Comic-Con. So by the time you get there, you're like, you know, I've been selling these books, I've been selling these crafts to so many people over the last few weeks or months. I'm ready for this. You've sung those songs at the open mic at the bar. You've sung them in a small theater. You've been to the arena. You've seen that crowd. And now you're at Carnegie Hall. Beautiful. And you're ready to go. It's a state of mind, first and foremost, before you set up that table. It's show business. And you need to put on a little act for folks that reveals how enthusiastic you are about your work, that sells that what you're doing is valuable to the creative community, and ultimately encourages the people that are hearing you say these things to want a piece of it, to want to buy it, because that's why you're there, to show it off, and to make your work financially viable, perhaps even financially independent, so that it becomes your job, so that your dream comes true. And setting up at Comic-Con is like going to work. Can you just imagine that? Incredible. Well, that's all I have for this first video. I appreciate you watching the whole thing. If you have any feedback or questions, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Please subscribe to this channel, Karaoke Fanboy TV. I'll be posting future installments of this series very soon, and I look forward to engaging with you about my experience at Comic-Cons over the years. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.